here we can see a general idea of what the environment looks like. There's over the hill to the nearest forest, and the dip in between. The heathland, well, it's heather, it's very, very dense heather with some grass, and this means that the heather provides a lot of cover. It's very easy to move between these two forested areas.
There is our car. And here, what's left of a sheep. There's bones, and hair everywhere. The fur, wool. Let's see if I can find a skull. The thing is about this, these sections of woodlands are completely surrounded by these little river sections. So it's very possible a sheep could get in through there, make it up here. However, getting to the other side of there, that looks like it's, that's been knocked down into that gully, but the actual feeding took place there behind that cover. And to get the sheep up there, even if it did die naturally, getting the sheep there is the difficult thing. Something big enough to take up a sheep carcass, particularly if it is covered in, if it's submerged in water and very heavy. Well, I'll get to this side and look, it's like a battlefield. Look, wow. Yes, a sheep for sure. Bones everywhere. And it's quite a large one. It's a female, I'd say, by the hip girdle here and other bits. There's small scavengers. There's the whole section of the leg there. Look at that. Here's one of the horns, which has been quite well chewed down. Yeah. Don't know if you can hear it, but it's, yeah, it's full of flies. It's a recent kill as well. I don't think it smells quite rotten here. Yeah. So this has been picked over by pine marten. If you still see, there's still a few traces of flesh on it. So it's been in the last week or two, I reckon. And you can see his traces of the pine marten. So he's been coming in and eating here. You see on this bone there's some shape. So this one, part of the hip girdle there, is much bigger on this side than that side. And this suggests to me that this animal perhaps had an issue with its leg. So it suggests, it doesn't mean it does, that means that this animal was probably weak or slightly disabled, maybe, slower than the others. And you get a rough size comparison when you take a look at the spinal column. So it's quite a big spinal area. Interesting, at this crossing point there are marks, and they're like 3-clawed marks. Now that's scraping and digging in, but it's a bit of the pad. But the question is, why is the claws out like that? It doesn't look like a dog print. I mean, it's very strange. That I don't recognize that print. Yeah, you see there, it doesn't really quite look like anything I've seen before. I don't know what it is. But it's come across here, goes up through there, across that gap. It's quite a big gap. Now if we look at the spacing of these, you see this one here, got 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, the fourth one is missing. What other ones you got? So you got 1, 2, 2. There's a fourth one there. So, and it's obviously quite heavy because you look at the size now. When I walk here, push my boot down, it's, let's see what happens if I put my boot here, close by. Yeah, and it weighs something. But it says claw marks. I don't get. This is one of those videos. This is one of those places where you look at the natural fall that's broken under its own weight. There's a lot of natural fall here. A lot of it under its own weight. And yeah, there it goes. But you have to wonder where that came from. This part, I mean, could it come from there maybe? This part. And then there could be a bit missing. Is there a bit missing? No, but I mean, the weight of it could have carried it over. This one seems to be, oh, that's on purpose. That is a deliberate, look, it's been rested here, this section inside that tree to run along. And look, there's a little place holding it in place, look. So it's kind of weaved into this, well, kind of. No. Yeah, it looks like it's on purpose. It could be just chance, but yeah, look at it. Plenty of food, look. Bilberries, bilberry bushes everywhere. Everywhere. So there's most likely grey squirrels. That is slugs off the top. But nibbling on the outside, that's the grey squirrel, I reckon. Right, there's likely deer tracks. It's not so clear to see. Not so easy to see out on the phone.
And here you see that I'm recording some of the animal scat in the area to identify what general creatures are here, most likely badgers here.
This is a great little find. Just off a well-used game trail. Knocked over mushrooms and everything. A swampy bit of mud with water in it. Very appealing. But looking for the footprints in the mud. And at the moment, I cannot see anything, which is a pity. This is interesting. So you've got these thick peat walls. It's like a print or something there. Almost like something has been walking along the bottom of that. What's the word for it? It's kind of a fire gap, is it? But you see the footprints. There is something that's climbed up. That's a fox. I can just make out the claw marks. But that one is very strange. Again, here, very, very close to the entrance of the forest, just beyond the water there is a much older feeding site. And you see how old it is. I mean, it's not ancient, but it's not new. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. So this is clearly a regular space for animals to eat. Stinks, I see stinks. Urine smell. So up there you've got some sheep, you can't see them, but they're separated, but there's a, like, I suppose you might call it a swamp or something there. And then there's a fence, and then there's like a patch of road and a marsh, and another fence, and there's the fire break, which is like a little boggy patch of water. So there are some sheep which break through the fence here. He's on the wrong side of the fence. And there's another fence line there, and then there's the gap with the water in it, like the little moat, and it's possible they've managed to get up into that space, but still it's something big enough to just kind of lift it and take it down in the first place. Pheasants just on the outskirts.
Now, the second part of this investigation focused on the section of the forest which is across the road and a small swampy bit of marshland from the main wood. It's also the closest piece of forest to the heathland, and of course it's on the road down towards the next forest down in the series of montane forests that we are focusing on. Now, it's important to say as well that this section of forest is closest to where the sheep may be entering, and it may have access to the sheep entering from the south anyway beyond the small brook. Now, our investigation began walking down less than 50 meters from the edge of the forest at all times, following the game trails which the animals make naturally along the edge of the wood. This is to follow the animals as they move, see what's there, see what's living there. And of course, any predatory animal will be operating in that area. So here you can see the path that I took with the white dots coming down, always staying very close to the edge of the forest. And sure enough, red circles with the white dots are the sheep kills that I found. The blue circle with the white center is a bird kill, possibly a hawk, most likely a female or young poult pheasant. The purple circle with the white center is a tree structure.
Okay, right at the edge of the forest, straight into a game trail, and there's sheep here. Oh, sheep has gone under there at any rate. Okay, so there's deer, this trail. It's running parallel to the road, so it's a good one to pick up. There's also grey squirrels. Animals are creatures who like to mostly take the easy route. So this is their crossing point, and you can see over there probably lots and not at this stage, lots and lots of dung. But here, sheep is brushed up against that. Its fur has a low profile. So there's an animal small, look, he's left his fur, its hay, so this animal has left a lot behind, including its wool. So a big difference here in terms of what these animals are leaving behind. And yeah, this is large, meaty dropping. It smells of meat, and it's got grains in it as well, or seeds from fruit maybe. Sound quite deep down there. Now this is what I saw from the road going past, and it looks like sheep wool, but it's not. It's kind of lichen, I think it is. Yeah. But oh look, probably urine stain. And here there's another one. Let's take a look. This is horn. What's left of its horns? What's left of its skull? It's a large sheep. There she is. And you see the scale of this one, very large. So there's our sheep. How old would this be? I would say in the last 6 to 8 weeks. Well, there's a lot here. I mean, yeah. So there's a leg bone up there. In fact, there's more bones all over the place. Leg bone. Just to get an idea, a size 10 boot. What's this one? Part of the jaw. It's part of a jaw. Hang on. There's more bones. so been scattered by small predators, but it's difficult to say what was the cause of death because there's not much left. Picked clean. Small bones over there. So this kill is by the way markers here, which are T8, 20 meters from the road, where I expect to find a kill. And it's fresh enough. It's gone a bit green with the weather, but fresh enough to still have bones joined together by meat. Here's where the backbone was taken. You see a large section of the backbone is here. Part of the rib cage. Although this looks like the tail end because it's smaller bones. Yeah, smaller bones here. And what's this part of the bone? It's a rib. So various animals have taken pieces. That's a little bit more. Yeah. And that isn't a second section. That isn't the same kill. Because look what we got here. A second skull. That there are two sheep here of the same type with the horns. Yeah, that slightly is exactly, that is a different kill. Two kills in 10 meters. There is that kill over there, and here is a second kill. This is a feeding site, and the animal is taking its prey to the same place. So this for sure is unquestionably a feeding site. Okay, so some small animal who lives in this hole has taken some of the meat and done his burrow with it. There, see the fur, the sheep wool. Here's another bone, probably taken from the original feeding sites over there. It's not going into that bog because there wouldn't just be a bone, it would all be down there. Now, there is a pigeon has just, or a dove has just flown off in that direction. You hear him rising. Oh, look at this. This large game trail here. Quite thin soles, but you don't know how old it is. Anyway, the sound of that dove or pigeon flap, 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 flapping over there means something startled it to one side of us in the forest. Now, if I am approached by something I don't want to be approached by, I would stick the phone in the pocket, of course, probably, still recording at the moment. I would drop the food bag and kick it over and hat it in one hand, stick in the other, and raise one high, because the stick can be used to distract something. This looks like some of the spore, whatever's been feeding here. It's a bit old, but segmented. It's not a dog. Yeah, that's not sheep or deer. Raven starting up about something, but it's further to the south, and I'm very close to the road, so it's not a bad place to be in. That's my escape route up there on that game trail, so I don't back into anything by mistake. I'm gonna go forward. Haha. what I'm doing. There's the road. I'm about 30 meters from the road, and there's a much deeper part of the forest where people don't generally go. There's no paths leading in from the road. Only game trails from the main forest where there are people and proper roads and stuff. Trying to check out what's here, and I'm scanning here because it's good for carcasses, because if an animal is on the road, an animal that wants to hunt it, it's a good game trail, but I'm not going to be tempted to go into the woods. An animal that wants to hunt is going to drag it into cover, but it's not going to want to drag it that far, just far enough that it can't be seen. So that's my plan. Okay, kill number 3. A lot of wool here, definitely a sheep. There's more of the jaw, there's more of the backbone, and the skull is all the way over there. This is another large adult sheep. There's its horn, there's its skull. I'm not going to go in after it. There's the skull, backbone. So about 40-50 meters that way since the last kill. Yeah, it's difficult to say exactly what took it down, but it was taken in from there. And look, so the dye is still on the wool. It's starting to green over very, very quickly. Whole sections of it here. There's a backbone, there's a scapula, so it's compared to my boot. It's a large animal. Yeah. So that didn't take too long. We got number 3. There's number 5 within the space of a quarter of a mile. Here is a detached area from that third site. Now there seems to be some large, almost fox-like droppings. Probably is a fox. Yeah, where a fox has taken a chunk of that same kill and brought it just over there from where the skull was, over here. And it's a large animal, and looks like the section of the arm or the leg actually, or maybe the whole rear end. And right there's some marking of it, the footprints going in. So that, I would say, has been broken up by a fox later on in the kill, but it's not too old. There's still some flesh on it. Look, still flesh on it. Doesn't smell too bad either. And that's right on this small game trail here, running through. It looks like I'm stumbling across kill number 4, very close to the others. That's possibly part of the sheep in there. It may have fallen in under here. There's certainly a possibility, but a lot of it is out here. Let's see if I can find a skull to confirm it is number 4. There's lots, there's wool around. And more bones. There's tons of it scattered. It's not bones actually, but it is wool. So there's the road, and there's a little pond area. And here is a significant amount more, still some flesh on it. But that same animal, still flesh on it. It's difficult to see it. Oh, those are bones over there, but I don't know, hair. It's difficult sometimes to see what the bones, the fox has been eating here. You can see this. It's dung. That is a bone. You get to see them pretty scattered. The carcass. That one could have died of natural causes, but that's the 6th in the area. About 150 meters. Okay, picking up something different here, something much smaller. Well, maybe just one section of it. Small scapulae maybe. Yeah, keep looking. It looks like there was more of him here. Maybe she didn't make it over the little stream. That's her fleece. However, a bit further down from that bit of fleece, see other fleece here. So and all the way down there, scattered about. So probably a lot of that was left of that sheep will be somewhere in that boggy river, which I don't really fancy. So here's the road. That's a human-used massive forest, and this is a much smaller section that nobody seems to go in. No sign of humans, really. There's a whole brook along here. What over here, there are a sign of sheep wool. Showing that there's a bone under that tree. Let's just zoom in. I hadn't even seen that one. Anyway, that one is little blue bones. This side, if the sheep were falling in there, right, falling in the rivers, you'd expect to see a large number along here. And if there aren't any, then that means that there's a reason for this, which is not just that they're falling in the rivers. It could also likely be down in these boggy bits down here. What I'd suggest is, that's an interesting, very large dropping or something. And other smaller droppings. So here we are, back at the motor car. There's the sheep out there in the field. La voiture est ici maintenant. So, I would suggest that what's happening is having like all the crap that people here, they just dump. They don't care about their land at all. Treat it very badly. But up there, that's the swampy river, little swampy. It's like a fire break, and there's one that side as well. And it's draining under. It's actually draining under here, and that's what the waterfall noise is. You can hear down there, right at the entrance of the forest. But this is the part. All the sheep droppings are on this side of the road, and I don't know why. That's facing north. Maybe they prefer to be slightly more uphill. The sheep kills. There's lots of sign of sheep along here, but there's nothing in there. And you'd think that they would be in these brooks. They wouldn't be in these little marshy. They wouldn't be 20 meters inside the wood line, all kind of line in a line. So that's interesting. Where there is a man-made road into this road, about a quarter of a mile, half a mile up, quarter of a mile maybe, half a k. There are 2 sheep kills on that in the same distance, very close to the side edge of the road, but not a highway. It's blocked off to cars, just utility vehicles for the forest. So my suggestion is that there is a predator here killing sheep that wander along the road, take them into the forest outside. I'd suggest is a big knock then, don't know what that was, that the sheep coming in to the wood, to the road, and they're walking along here, and I think something's grabbing them at night. That's my suggestion. There's a lot of noise as I walk, particularly down towards where my car is down there. It's not kind of at the edge of my hearing. like a little knock or weird animal noise. Okay, just opposite the main road there. There's my little red car parked opposite there. I walked west and found a sheep horn. So it's probably a matter of time before I find a bit more of this one. The one place I'm not looking it up, because if it is something like a cat, it's stashing its prey. Oh, I should have put my stick. I just stopped off here. It was foolish. But let's have a look. Down by the river maybe. Yeah. Any trolls here? Should have brought my stick. Foolish. Left it in the car. A bit further down the little river. Here's a bit of sheep wool as well. There's lots of very, very well used game trails. Like old sheep wool here. There's two paths. One for the small animals here. But it's almost magical. I feel better now I'm moving out of it. That's the reason I don't feel safe here. No. Path up there as well, I didn't take. Just want to see along there. Yeah, I mean, look at, oof. Interesting. It is interesting. Look at this. These branches have been twisted. Blocking that trail. That one, wow, look. Oh, sugar. There's a branch here, which is down there. And then you've got the branches twisted like that. Lots of them twisted over. Oh. I think it's time to go because I haven't got a staff with me. I left it in the car and I've seen enough. This is like somewhere out of a film or a fairy tale with the trolls are under the bridge. And there is a bridge. Listen to the bird language. Look. This looks.
Here you can see the course of my investigation over the two different trips. They were an hour or two at most, a couple of days apart. Now, as you can see here, there's significant amounts of feeding sites, basically dead sheep and a possible hawk, but more likely a pheasant in a very close area. It's highly unlikely that this is simply a coincidence. It's also very important to say at this stage, listen to your instincts. When something felt wrong, it was time to leave. I didn't run, I walked away. I made sure that safety came first, and my advice would be for anybody else in a similar situation to do the same thing. Now feel free to share any of your ideas or opinions on some of the things we found in this video, whether it's the tree structures or what you think might be taking place in this particular site. Thanks for watching.